Am I live? I'm live. Hey, it's David Kelley. I'm here with more crazy stuff to share. This one is a game that I've played with a very select crowd of people. It's the kind of people that collect bottle caps. And if you ever figured, well, there's not really many games you can play with bottle caps, I beg to differ. And in fact, you can make a game out of just about anything if you're creative enough. And this is one of them. First off, get a look at my bottle cap collection. There's about 100 or so. And each one is one of a kind. So without this, let's move this forward. This is a really strange game, but it's a pretty neat one. You have the goal zone. And each player have a certain amount of, they bring their bottle caps to the table. And so, like marbles or other weird collectibles like that, sometimes people got their collections. So we'll just say that let's break this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 29, 30, 1, 32, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 40, 41, 2, 3, 44, 5, 46. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We'll say each person brought 16 caps to the game, right? And since each one of these caps is different, they're competing to try and score each other's caps because this person doesn't have this guy's caps and this guy doesn't have this guy's caps. So this is the game. You have a cap in the middle, and the object of the game is to try and pop the caps into that goal. Now this is how it works. The first person to pop the caps into the middle collects all of the caps that are on the board. And so they end up winning all of the caps. So let's say this person first. You use your knuckles, you can use your fingers, or you can use your thumb, or you can use your pinky, or different methods to try and pop the cap. You can sit there and press really super hard and try to lift it that way. And that's really just the goal. Now, typically, people would be starting at opposite ends of the table, and this thing would be placed in the dead center as the goal post. Every time a person lands a cap into the middle, the round ends, the caps are cleared, given to the winner, and then the game continues until everyone loses their caps. So without further ado, let's go. I'll show you how it works. This person would be trying to pop the cap like that. Now this person will go, and as you can see, table will fill up with caps as the game progresses. Now, this person would have won all of those caps. And then the game continues until everyone else is out of caps. And you'll end up getting this kind of thing on your knuckle there. When you play this game for a really long amount of time, you'll get a little you'll get a little knuckle nib. That hurts. I have to switch knuckles up. And depending on the condition of your cap will depend on your ability to toss those caps. And you're not supposed to move them. There's different ways to go about. That one went off the table. I guess you try again. All right. Let's try this method. Oh, that's too much. Like this, when you get these floppy, wonky caps right here, these ones don't fly quite right. But if you know your cap well enough, it can be the cap that wins every time, not that time. But if you know the flaw of your cap, sometimes a cap that's got a certain twist or a dib taken out of the side, it can be a regular winner. Uh-oh. And you can try to sit here and do this one where you press really super hard and then throw it that way. You can also go from the inside and try and throw it that way. Now you have to remember which caps are yours, and if you know your caps well enough, you'll know which ones are yours. Now, since all of these caps are mine, I don't know which one belongs to which team anymore. But I guess that's just typical for me, isn't it? I can't remember which is which. Ow! This is a very, very classically inspired game. Uh-oh. Basically, you're just trying to get things to land. Let's just put all these caps here in the middle. Here, there's different techniques to try and get. Ooh, see that? Popped right in there and then popped right back out. And everyone's got their lucky cap, the one that they like the most. Ooh. And then, of course, yeah, each part of your hand that you whittle down, when it starts to hurt too much, you'll have to switch. You'll have to switch how you go about approaching these caps, because you'll put a little raw spot on that knuckle, and then by the time you switch to another knuckle, woo, you'll end up putting a little dib in that knuckle, and then you'll have to switch to another knuckle. Or you use just the tips of your fingers, or you could be a sticky finger player who plays like that. Now, when one team runs out of caps, they don't have to worry, because if no one makes the score into the middle, everyone gets their caps back. But anyone who takes this game seriously doesn't want it to end like that. you want them to you want the person who put all their caps in to lose their caps, because winners play for keeps. Uh-oh. There's too much sauce on that dog. All right. And that's another thing too. You can do these ones, the little baseball moves, where you pop the cap up in the air and then try to bucket into the bucket. Uh-oh. There's also top cap moves. It's really not as easy as it looks. And there's so many different ways to play that you can get creative with it. You can get creative with how it is you pop your caps into the cap. I guess you could call this game a pop a cap, because you pop caps. And it's really fun, especially if you've had yourself a big night of drinking and you got yourself just way too many bottle caps laying around. This is a really cool game for if you've got a lot of bottle caps laying around. And, people don't got to get too possessive, because if you got all the same caps, no one feels like they're really losing anything. Woo! But when you're dealing with a cap collection, that's when things get heated. That's when people will get their feelings hurt, because no one wants to lose the special caps from their cap collection. And this cap collection is accumulated over a very long period of time. It's caps I found on the ground, or caps from things I've drank, or caps that I've traded with other cap people. And yes, there are cap people that collect bottle caps. And honestly, they're pretty cool people a lot of the time. Unless you're playing this game, it'll bring out the worst. All right, this guy's down to his last few. Uh-oh. Down the hole. All right. Stupid. These Seagram's caps really seem to fly. That's such a tasty velocity. This guy's down to this is his last cap. This is his last cap. You got to make it count. No, sir. All right, now we got this side versus that side. This guy's only got 4 caps left, and this guy has got a lot of chances. So the more caps you win, the more chances you'll have at the end of the game to score everyone else's caps. And at the end of the game, if no one's won their caps, the real fun is figuring out who owns which ones. Because when you bring your cap collection, typically one person won't have the same caps as the other person, or maybe they will. And that's also another thing that makes it really fun, is you really don't want caps you already have if it's a matter of the cap collection. Because let's bring all these guys back into the middle here. Because when you're collecting caps, it's all about the different cap, the new cap, the one you didn't have before. Woo! And it gets really fun to try and perfect that pop a cap method. Oh, here, this person still got. That was so close. That was so close. All right. Too much. Now this one right here, this is an unpressed cap. Look at it closely. See how the ends are flared out? This cap has never been bottled before. And these caps right here are devastating if you know how to pop them. It's always a really clean arc, and if you can master it down, they're hard winners. Unpressed caps. You want to keep your eyes out for unpressed caps. They have that little flare there. All right, that one already went. All right. Now this is the last guy to go. Let's see. Here's another unpressed cap. I'm going to save that guy for last. He's going for the gold. He wants to win them all. Ooh, the brownie cap. Ooh, the Canadian leaf cap. Oh. Finally, the last unpressed. Oh, everyone loses. So now the fun would be who owns what. Since these are all my caps, I'll just break the teams back down. In fact, I think that pretty much explains what this activity is. If you're ever stuck inside, when the power is out, and you got yourself a cap collection, and your guest or your buddy, whoever, also has a cap collection, you can play a game of Pop-A-Cap. Keep you from popping a cap if you catch my drift. I've got a few other activities in place, but not before showing you something that might actually be useful. And if you're another YouTuber and you got yourself a cap collection and you want to challenge me at a game of Pop-A-Cap, open invitation. Just make sure you bring your A game, because I've been playing that one longer than anyone else has. I think I invented the game, actually. Or maybe not. There we go. Skills that you can use. This is a grappling hook. And this grappling hook is for nautical purposes. It's used for reclaiming buoys from the ocean. And if you ever used a grappling hook, you know that the most arduous thing about using the grappling hook, aside from dislodging it from the thing that you stuck it into. Now, granted, if you're retrieving buoys from the ocean, it's not such a big deal. You just kind of take it off the rope you grabbed. The second thing, the hard part, if you're ever on deck and you need to do stuff, is once you throw the grappling hook, the rope is all out there, and you don't want a whole bunch of rope just sitting on the deck like this, because that's death. You'll get your feet caught in that stuff, and before you know it, your ass is falling over, and then you're getting tossed by the waves, and your ass is grass. So you want to make sure that you're able to coil the rope as you draw it in. And there's a way that I've learned to coil rope, and it's like this. So you have your hand. Well, here, actually, we might want to switch the direction of where this is pointing here. You see that rope? Oh, power cord, why doth you torment me? Get out of here, you. All right. So here we go. There's the rope. And here's your hand. I'm going to angle this. I'm kind of looking down at the computer as this is happening. All right. So you grab the rope. And here's your other hand. What you want to do is press thumb to thumb. Grip your hands like that. You stretch out, and as you're stretching out, you cock your wrists down like this until your knuckles pointed up like this on the other side. Then you take that and you curl it back around, and you meet your thumbs again right there, right? And you do that again, but you want to make sure to duplicate the distance so that way you get the same sized coil every time. There's lots of handy ways for coiling something properly. You could coil a cord, you could coil a rope, you could coil a string, but knowing how to coil a rope and cord is a great skill set. Not only that, but if you're working on the ocean, you want to be fast at it. And I'll show you here as I'm demonstrating this. Oh no, we have a break in our coil. What do? We push the knot through. The rope will do its side. Now you just set your hand back there, thumb to thumb, go up, back through, up, back through, up, back through, up, back through, up, back through. This is a skill that will not only save your life, but if you're really good at it, impress the people you're working with, because being able to coil isn't just useful on a boat. It's also really handy on a build site, say with power cords. The quicker you can coil a power cord, the quicker you can clock out and go home. And so it's nifty to know how to coil things. You can make these really super tight coils. You see how neat and tight that coil is? Coiling rope. Coiling rope will save your life. Now let's throw it out again. Let's say we cast our grappling hook. Let's review. Let's do it way out here so you guys can see. That's the kind of... Now, granted, you're going to be doing full arm lengths, not these really tight coils right here, but this is for demonstration purposes. Like this, out like that, back in like that, out like that, back in like that, out like that, back in like that. You want to make sure to grip the rope really, really tight, or the cord or whatever it is you're doing really tight, because that will also unwind the rope as you are coiling it. And it makes a lot of sense to unwind the rope because you'll get twists in your rope. I'm going to show you the difference between coiling something properly and just thinking you're doing it right. Now, granted, I've coiled this thing so many times, it'll probably just lay in how it's supposed to do. Because when you coil a rope properly enough times, every time you throw it out, when you're pulling it back in, it'll already have a certain groove stretched into the shape of the rope that'll cause it to just naturally coil up comfortably. Now we're just gonna put the rope together. You're gonna see where the problems are. See that? That's the first problem. You wasted time. Oh man, that's another problem. You see, and then and here's another one. Oh man, oh man, oh man. And see that? That's the one I wanted to show you right there. That right there is a bunk coil, and it ruins the rest of your coil. See that? And the more down the rope you go, the more and more it'll get messed up, because you're just trying to feed the rope together. And it doesn't even matter that most of the rope has already bred into a certain shape. Does that look nice or does that look like crap? So remember, when you're coiling a rope, you want to do it a certain way. Here's another way to coil rope. You want to make sure to go, you can go top, and then you go under, and then you go top, and you go under, and you go thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you see what I'm doing here? How the thumbs up, and then the thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. Now, it's not my favorite way to coil, and that's why I've developed I guess you could call it the swing swung method. You swing swung your wrists. There's your thumbs together. One wrist is pointing up, another is pointing down. And as you draw the rope, you twist the wrist, and then rejoin your thumbs with one up and one down. There you go. And you can do this really fast. Granted, I'm trying to do this on a table in front of a computer, around a computer. So it's not exactly the most efficient way. Knowing how to coil a rope can save your life and save you time, or saves you money and stress. What do you think of that? If ever you're watching. I guess we got to think of a few more activities just to make the episode worthwhile. What could they be? I've got an idea. Let's just have some fun for the sake of filling time. How does that look right there? That looks a bit like an art easel, doesn't it? Let's draw a funny picture. And we're going to draw with none other than a marker. Yes, the great permanent marker. Now, with your drawing with markers, you got to remember one thing. Whatever you draw on the front side, it's probably going to end up on the back side. So you want to be careful whatever surfaces you're drawing onto. This picture is going to, of course, have very big, broad lines, and whatever mistakes I make, I have to deal with because I don't have my good pal, Mr. Eraser, to fix my mistakes for me. So this permanent marker here, and we're going to draw ourselves a scenic view. Yes. Let's start with a mountain. Another mountain. At the top of this. And what's cool about markers is depending on how hard you press will depend on how dark the line is. And so if you're really light to press, you can get these very light lines. And if you're very hard to press, you can get these super heavy lines. And it depends on what you're after. If you're after nothing but heavy lines, then just draw nothing but heavy lines. Basically, this is an experiment to see if drawing on this cardboard easel here will produce a better product than trying to reach around the classic activity tower, which, as we all know, causes major trouble, like my laptop falling from the top of it, hitting the floor, and making me feel and look like an even bigger ass than I usually am. Yes. Now, granted, there will come a time where I will play with the activity tower, because I think there's a certain fun and panache to the activity tower. The the camera stand erected out of a bread box and a Whitman sampler box, and on top of a ammo box, on top of a cardboard box, or on top of a popcorn can, and then on top of a cardboard box. Now, we're not just going to fill this thing with forest texture. We want to have a little scene going down here on the front. And I think the scene that we're going to have, let's have a few things. Notice that I've neglected the absolute foreground and the absolute sky, because we're going to fill this image with some goofy things. So there we go. Recorrect that. Let's have in the air, we'll have people hoisted by balloons with swords. And they're just drifting towards each other. And they're gonna have a sword fight. Well, hoisted by balloons. They're gonna try to chop each other's strings to make the other guy fall. It's one of my favorite things to draw. And then, what's another fun thing we can add? Let's put over here. Let's put an observatory tower on this hill. Why? Because I want to draw an observatory tower. I want to fill episode space with interesting things for people to see. Because, I guess I could just make videos about me playing video games. I do like playing video games. I'm not against them. But I figure that's just been done before. Who's doing things that are silly and human? Everyone's just playing video games or talking about someone else's YouTube video or playing Minecraft, or you know what I mean, or just the same old graham cracker politics of the day. It's just, I've always imagined that people might want to see something just a little different when they click around on the YouTubes. And that's not to say there's something bad about that, because there really isn't. And sometimes people just, they're hard pressed to generate content. They don't have the imagination, or they don't want to embarrass themselves doing something silly like this. And that's nothing against them. Everyone's got their idea of cool. Now, what do we do down here? And it's not my idea of cool. My idea of cool is, is this something you haven't seen before? And if it's something you've seen 100 times, it's hard to be interested. I'm always interested in something I haven't seen before. All right, so we got two mountains. We got people fighting with balloons. We're gonna have let's have a UFO. Observatory looking at the UFO, and this UFO has a boxing glove. Why? Because isn't that funny? And then let's have in the sky here in the background, in over here in the distance, let's have a mushroom cloud. This would be pandemonium taking place. The gentle glow of mushroom cloud, a light so bright it shines through you. That's honestly something I've always imagined, would be a light so bright it shines through you. Have you ever stuck your hand up to a flashlight and seen the light shine through your hands? You should try it sometime. It usually just looks like you can only usually do it with the tip of your finger, and the tip of your finger will glow by sticking your hand up to the light. What if there was a light so bright you could stick it to your tummy and you could see pink, or you could stick it up against your back and then see the pink light sticking through your tummy? You could see the little spot where the light's shining through, a little pinkish glow. Now, I've heard of accounts of a nuclear bomb going off. The military soldiers were describing what it was like to be on the ship watching a nuclear bomb go off. And they said they covered their eyes and they'd be looking down and they could still see the light. And in fact, they could see their bones through their hands. And holy crud, what a force. What an exertion of energy that the flash would shine through the entire person. It's just a daunting concept to consider. The amount of energy, photonic energy, that it would take to shine a light through an entire person. Yeah. I don't know what would be worse, getting evaporated by the nuke or having to survive with the cancer and stuff that comes with it. Oh, here's one. Any of you YouTubers out there who really hit the back annals of the web, have you ever heard of this channel called Creoson? They're these Russian guys, and they do these science experiments, and they do these urban explorations, and they're in Russia. And so, granted, Russia is a very strict police state, nearly martial law sort of country. So these guys have been doing a series just recently where they go over to Pripyat in Russia. And if you don't know what Pripyat is, it's the town with the Chernobyl nuclear power plant that erupted, or rather collapsed, back in melted down, I guess is the proper term. It was a meltdown in 1986, and it was one of the most devastating nuclear meltdowns of all time. And in fact, it would have been much, much worse had the brave firefighters of Pripyat not pretty much just thrown their lives into hell to go down there and make sure that the thing didn't go full ballistic. And so God bless their souls, because they really saved the earth a lot of trouble. Anyway, they just recently did this video where they were going through this chemical lab that they tested nuclear experiments on people and animals. And this place looks like something out of a scary movie. There's like this toxic radioactive wastewater all through the bottom of it, and there's just these abandoned rooms full of lab chemicals, and these guys are exposing themselves to like millions of sieverts, trying to like scan this old firefighter's boot that was sitting in like this bucket of powdered radioactive material. If these guys don't have superpowers, man, they're doomed for sure. If you haven't seen that video, you should check it out and give those guys your support, because they probably won't be around for too much longer. Not just because the Russian government might be after them, but because they've been exposed to just ungodly amounts of radiation. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the fallout ghoul is a real thing. These guys might become that. Like, it is beyond fathom. It is beyond fathom what they've exposed themselves to. What should we have here at the bottom? Let's have people. Let's have people having a picnic, because nothing goes with a nuclear mushroom cloud like people having a picnic. Cheers, mate. The stocks are bully. Oh, Harold, why do you have to go about stocks on such a beautiful day? Oh dear. If you don't like the business, you should have married a pauper. I probably should have. You would satisfy me in bed much better than a businessman like you. Well, I can have one arranged for you. Oh, don't be silly, dear. Well, maybe once we do need a child, and I do believe you are sterile. Well, after today, I just might. Bully. Get it? Because they're like in the midst of a nuclear cloud. What else should we have? Let's have a... We'll have a clown. Why? Because everyone loves clowns, especially Gen Zers. And this clown... How many disturbing images can we pack into one picture? Without going for the easy ones, like genitalia and... It is awfully silly, though. There's his wiggly legs and his big clown feet. Send him, clowns. And he's glowing. He's glowing because he's absorbing all of the radiation. The clown is getting stronger from the radiation. Because clowns get stronger from radiation. They just convert it into pure laugh energy. Yuck, 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 yuck. All right. What the hell? Yes. What else should we? So we've got the rich people having a picnic. People. All right. This is starting to turn out. This is turning into an image to be proud of. In the background, let's have a shining city. But yeah, that Creo-san channel. Give them a look-see. Give those guys some support because one thing, as a little kid, when I was hearing about the Chernobyl incident, one of my biggest dreams was to see what that place looked like at that point, at my point in time, when, over the years, what happened to it. And so these guys are going through there. They're showing what the place looks like, and they're not only showing what the place looks like, they're going into places you wouldn't bother going into, places you wouldn't dare go into. And people play video games where you go into dungeons of places that are forgotten and dangerous. These guys are literally going into places that are forgotten and dangerous, and they're giving you a first-person view. They're giving you a first-person view. Oh wait, you don't get. There they are. See, yeah, there's the rich people having their picnic, and there's the clown. Das Clown. Let's add to this wonderful artwork with a little bit of a. We'll have a. We'll have a gorilla. And the gorilla is doing sign language. And I don't know what the sign for help me is. But that's what the gorilla would be trying to sign. He's saying, "Get me out of here. Help me. Get me out of here. I'm stuck in this crazy picture with these crazy people." Like Coco the gorilla says, "Human, stupid." What else? I guess we should just probably kind of just favor a completionist background. You think, why am I doing this as a YouTube channel when I could be doing something? Because I don't want to do what normal people are doing. Normal people are boring and stupid. They talk about the same dumb crap
vaccine crap, politics crap. And honestly, who cares? We're all going to die. You can't escape death. Quit thinking you're going to escape death. Stop it. Just stop it. You're going to die. You're going to die. I'm going to die. I'm probably going to die sooner than you. And I'm not complaining. You say, why am I going to die sooner than you, you think? One, because I piss people off. Namely, I piss rich people off. Or I don't know, maybe I'm entertaining. And if that's the case, then I guess I'm doing my job just as I had anticipated. Because some people like a good cosmic roast, and I imagine that's what'll happen to me. And so that's okay. Fair is fair. The world of life and challenges. There's little trees right there. And then we'll go here. And this will just kind of exemplify kind of like a forest in the distance, the edges of that forest in the distance. Is there a gorilla and a clown and rich people? UFOs. People fighting with balloons, nuclear explosions. Yeah, I think we got this going on. This is a party. This is a straight party. This is such a party. This is a Donner party. No, it's not. They're not eating each other. Actually, if you haven't studied the Donner Party, you should look it up. It is a dreadfully depressing tale. It is a tale about submission to authority. Yes. It is a tale about following the leader. That is what the story of the Donner Party is about. It is a story about what happens when you don't question the decisions of madmen. With the best of intentions. Granted, anyone who was on the Donner Party did not think it was going to end like that. They were very self-assured that by following instructions exactingly, they would be provided to safety. It would be okay. Things would turn out just fine as long as they followed the leader. And so if you don't know the ending to the Donner Party, I'm not going to spoil it for you. You should study that. It's a true story. Yes. All right. Well, it's starting to look like a pretty picture almost. These guys right here are in big trouble because that big nuclear waste is going to go flowing through that city. And it's going to look like New Jersey in a matter of seconds. It's going to turn that Skokie, Illinois into Gary, Indiana. What is the reference? You guys are all about referential humor, aren't you? It's about immutable correctness and the flaws therein. I want to try to provide something on my channel that you just don't find other places. And I hope that's what you get here. Maybe it's just a lot of the same thing in a different way. And there's really nothing special about what I'm doing here. Well, there's a fun little picture, isn't it? Wow. What the hell's wrong with me? Okay. Now, you might hear me in chat groups or see what I type in chat groups here and there and other places. And so now you know when you're scaling the kind of subject matter, you would think I'm being serious a lot of the time, but a lot of the time it's humor. It's a very dark gallows humor that comes from a dark gallows education and a dark gallows life. I know. Let's do something fun. There's a book I want to show you guys that you've probably seen before or parodies of it. But it's a book that was very inspiring, very influential on how I think about industrialized culture. And you probably know what book I'm talking about already. So I'm not going to spoil it for you. You'll find out. Won't take more than a minute now. Yes. And this one's my favorite too. This is none other than y'all get your foil caps on now. The Sears Roebuck catalog featuring Warren Sears, and this is a very special edition. This is the 1908 edition. Yes. This production of the amazing and very rare Sears Roebuck and Company catalog of 1908 is dedicated to the millions of Sears employees and suppliers all over the free world who have labored so effectively for so many decades to make Sears the great firm it is today. Yes. There's things I love about this book. And the thing that I love about it the most is not just the pictures, because the pictures were a huge inspiring factor. In fact, to this day, I wish I could draw as good as the people who drew the pictures in this book. I imagine with a bit of training and some close effort, I could probably get there. But I stand in awe, and I'll bet that these people were paid biscuit wages to draw the things in this book. But the other thing about this book that I absolutely love is the language, how it is written, the way things are written, the way things are advertised. It's just absolutely goosey. It makes me giggle so much. So I'm going to select a few things in this book. And there's things about the culture of this turn of the century existence that nowadays would probably get you kicked in the gut. But without further ado, let's turn on the old the voice of the person who would be selling things from back in the day. And this is 1908, which means I think World War I has not quite started yet. It was like 1912 to 1918. It was World War I. So this is before America sold out to the big banks. This is before how would I put it gently? this is before what you're seeing nowadays was still a back alley thing. What you're seeing in the White House and in media and in government was a back of the room thing where it belonged. And so but it was still very popular, and it's mentioned in this book. It was commercial at that day and age, and in some cases stab in the dark required. And if you don't like that and that hurts your feelings, grow a pair. Grow a pair. Who dares? Oh, death. Shut up. No one likes you guys anyway. Except for yourselves. And that's okay. Love yourselves. Here we go. Our capital and financial standing. This is a subject so thoroughly established in thee and to the knowledge not only of our millions of customers, but also to every other citizen of the United States, that it is perhaps altogether unnecessary to refer at all to our financial strength and standing. But since our present position, our cumulative capital and standing financially reflect the soundness of our policy of high quality standards and low price making, and are, after all, with the goodwill of our millions of customers, the reward of our policy of merchandising, it may be interesting to refer to the questions of our position in finance and strength to show you what has been the measure of success up to date. As a result of making prices such as were never made before, giving values such as no other house is giving, has given, or can give, treating our customers certainly as well as any other house could possibly treat them, applying the golden rule, which says, among other things, that we must have the highest quality at the lowest price, treating our customers as we would like to be treated. Do you even... Come on. You have got to just love that stupid flowery language. And this is in a day and age where most people were illiterate. Like they couldn't read this. They were just like, prices. What are the prices of this thing? How do I fill out? Hey, can you fill out the shipping order for me? I don't know how to write. It's 1908. Yes, and it just goes on and on. It's this flowery, self-bolstering language that you just, unless you master it yourself, you really don't understand just how awesome it feels. And to think, back in the days, they're not talking to the customer here. They're talking to themselves. Most people can't read. No, they're really impressed by the beautiful pictures, and that's honestly why I love the 1908 edition, because of the beautiful pictures, just the fantastic artwork that they had no doubt paid biscuit wages for. They're just like the people that drew all of these wonderful pictures probably got paid a biscuit and a can of fish a day. Thankless work. Yeah, and then they probably also promptly got sacked right afterward. Oh, thanks for all these pictures. Back to the plow, Jack. All right, let's and they just go on and on. It's about
5 or 6 pages of saying something you could break into a paragraph. How far we have gone, are going, and will continue to go to help our buyers get satisfactorily high qualities at satisfactorily low prices. Who says that? Who says that? All right, let's go through some stuff. The methods of shipment. Here we go. We can ship all goods by mail. See paragraph H about mail shipments by express. See paragraph 1 about express shipments by freight. See paragraph K about freight shipments. If left to our judgment, we will ship our goods in the manner which we will be the least expensive to our customers, or the least expensive to our customers. In all cases, transportation charges are paid by the customer. That's right. Shipping was not free. And you would think you're going to look at the prices and you're like, oh man, that's actually a pretty low price. But when people are getting paid 25 cents a day, or the average worker is getting paid 25 cents a day, your middle tier worker is getting about $1 a day, and probably your more technical, higher end people might make at most $5 a day. And then there's everyone else. Now think of that. Think of that right there, where it's like people making 25 cents a day, hard labor, 25 cents a day, hard labor. I think this company's capital was $8 million with a surplus of $6 million. So the shareholders, the 3 shareholders of this company, took a share between them that just absolutely colossusly shadowed the hopes and dreams of any poor sod who thought they understood the value and power of money. It is absolutely, it is heartbreaking, the cronyism that took place in 1908. And that's because all of the stuff was back alley, back room. They could get away with things like this. There was no regulatory board. There was no checking system. The checking system was, hey, I think I want 35 cents a day. All right. Now you're jobless. Well, I don't think I should be jobless. I'm going to go find a job somewhere. You're going to die in the wilderness because you asked questions. And it was real. Don't play games. Don't play games. I make games. Don't talk to me about games. All right, here we go. A washing machine was $28.80. So if a person's making about 25 cents a day, $28.80 for a washing machine is pretty damn expensive. That is an expensive machine. The other option being do it by hand. And let's take a look at this washing machine. And of course, the woman is doing all the work. Oh, wait, that's not a washing machine. That's a cream separator. Money cannot buy a separator. Yes, it can. $28.80 can. It is built in by far the biggest separator factory in the world by our own mechanical experts. Picked men, the cream of the country, whose reputation is established wherever high-grade machinery is made. It far surpasses any other machine offered by any other maker. No other maker has the facilities we have. No other maker has the same amount of money invested in a specially designed machinery built for the sole purpose of constructing perfect cream separators. That's right.
Here's you, and here's the thumb. Right, you little worker. You'll never be me. It's all in the language. It's beautiful. The new economy chief of skimming wonders. Oh, the new economy chief is a skimming wonder of wonders. It skims so the last small drop of cream under the hardest conditions. It skims every particle of cream where all others fail, clog up, and become useless. Nothing affects its wonderful skimming. It skims milk that is icy cold or milk that is steaming hot. Old milk, milk from stripper cows and cows on dry feed. It skims everything in the milk line that can be skimmed, and always skims from 3 to 5 times closer than the very best separators offered by the trust of anyone else. Yes, cream separator. 2-month free trial. And the free trial of a skim separator would probably make you a lot of money. Given that things were so desperate, a lot of people didn't trade in money back then. It'd be goods for goods, and the cronyism and grift from back east, and the assault of their auspice over the rest of the country, it was just absolutely blood curdling. People lived and died under the millstone in 1908. And the more you read through this, you're just like, wow. Yes, I could sit here and read this whole thing. And yeah, you'll get 2630. That's an economy cream separator. You probably would only have to clean it out every couple of hours. Or every couple of what would you call them, turnings. I don't know exactly how that would work. It's another one. Now, see, there's a lot of things here, like $9.85 for the Belmont sewing machine. $9.85 is a lot more affordable. Oh, and by the way, if you want to look at what it took to separate cream from milk in manually, just the old school way, go look that up. It's a very fun process. It's let's just say it involves a lot of up and down. A bit of laborious work. Let's see here, the Minnesota Model B. Let's look up some of my more preferred items. 39 cents a gallon on paint. Not bad, huh? Not bad. It's like $300 a can. Hey, paint was hard to make. Paint was hard to make. It was in high demand. Unless you had to do it yourself, you'd make whitewash out of limestone. What's this? Let's pick an item here. Whitewashing machine, fire extinguisher, spray machine, all in one. $7.65. Yep. This machine was originally made for whitewashing machine, but we have found that it can be put to a dozen different uses because it's pretty much just a pump out of a bucket with a spraying nozzle. See, so you could take this machine and just pump whatever you want out of this bucket. It was essentially just a directional sump pump. But let's listen to how they describe it. And another thing you have to remember, at this time, equipment like this is not something you could get a hold of by just anyone. It took manufacturing to make it possible. And so in a way, you paid their price or no dice, and that was it. Tough beans. It was lived and died under the millstone. First, it may be used for whitewashing chicken houses, barns, sheds, warehouses, basements, factories, and etc., and do the work better and more thorough than with brushes simply because it forces the whitewash into crevices and corners where the disease germs lodge. Hey, they knew about germs. The disease germs. That cannot be reached with brushes. Also, when whitewashing chicken houses infected with chicken lice, the work can be done from the door or window, doing away with the inconvenience of allowing yourself to be covered from head to foot with chicken lice and dirt. Second, as a fire extinguisher, it cannot be excelled because the machine, without any exertion, will throw a fine steam 30 feet. Also used for washing buggies, outside windows, porches, sidewalks, outside walls of buildings, etc., sprinkling flowers, spraying fruit trees and plants, washing the feet of horses and cattle, because this is 1908. People didn't drive cars. People rode horse and buggy. That's another thing to remember. That's a good thing to remember about this day and age, the things we take for granted. How many of you think you could handle a horse? And how many of you think you'd just get kicked in the chest because you're going to try to stick a key somewhere it doesn't belong? Speaking of sticking keys where they don't belong, 1 year's supply of stationery. It's incredibly cheap, probably because the demand for writing was very seldom. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. $25.95 for a buggy. That's how expensive things were. $32.15 for a nicer buggy, and $34.15 for the nicest. And you got to think, well, that doesn't sound like a lot of money. You got to remember the industrial cream separator was $28. These are expensive items, and you're getting paid 35 cents a day. How long do you think it would take for you to save up for a buggy? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now we're getting into the crazy buggies. Look at this. Leading runabout style. American beauties. Let's look for the most expensive buggy. This is something I like to do sometimes. I like to put together a price list of if you wanted to deck yourself out with the Sears catalog, like pretty much set yourself up to where, like, I want to have the nicest house, the nicest buggy, the nicest this, the nicest that. How much would that cost? And then we're going to take we'll take a middle tier man's wage of $1 a day, and how long would it take to how long would it take to to save up for that? You would probably be dead of cholera before you got halfway there. This one is 70. Oh, wow, $104. It's going up and up and up. $89 for a triple seater. All right. Let's see. I think I found the most expensive one. Here it is. The 1908 Model A handsome design high grade. The easiest riding, handsomest and most comfortable family carriage ever built, sold at actual factory cost with our one small margin of profit. Furnished with shafts regularly, but with furnish pull if wanted at the same price. Options. 2 full sweep easy riding scroll springs at the rear. Hey, shocks counted back then. There were no paved roads per se. Well, there were paved roads, but only so many places. $104. It goes through the description of the seats, the body, the top, the gear, the wheels, shafts, the painting, and the track. $104.95. What are the extras? Let's look at the extras. Let's get a look at this sucker right here. This right here. This was the Rolls Royce of its day. Dear people who work on Red Dead Redemption 2, your prices are whack. Out of touch. Out of touch and out of time. Extras. Price complete with pole and place of shafts, both pole and shafts, 1-inch Kelley Springfield guaranteed rubber tires. And by rubber tires, it was probably just a strip of rubber around the wagon wheel. Shipping weight, crated under 15 inches. And actually, that strip of rubber around the wagon wheel probably made a huge difference, not only in shock absorption, but the life of your wheel itself. Shipping weight catered under 50 inches, about 790 pounds. So this thing weighed 790 pounds, which you got to think, you go through the shipping costs, that sucker was expensive to get to you. You weren't paying a small amount of money to get that thing to your doorstep. And it probably wouldn't make it because the place would get robbed and they take your cart for themselves. They're gonna see a nice buggy on the back of a train while they're robbing it. You think they'll do? So let's put our horses on this thing and take it back to the camp. You think it didn't happen? Hey, Sears, where's my wagon? We got it to you. No, you didn't. Oh, wait. No, you didn't. Stop. Shut up, or we're going to make you disappear. Okay. I'll shut up. It wasn't like that. Too bad. Oh, here we go. The Siege of Port Arthur. Stereoscopes. Now, stereoscopes are fun. Actually, yeah, that'll be a different episode. Glasses. How much did a pair of glasses cost? So, granted, I don't know how they're going to be doing the optometry test from back east. If you lived in Oregon Territory and they're back east in Chicago at the Sears Tower, like how are they judging what lens work for you? How did they know if it was thick enough or short enough? You would get a pair of glasses and they wouldn't work, and you would just tell yourself that they work because you're not going to send those back. It already costs too much for them to get them to you. All right, cheapest pair of glasses. This is fun you can only have if you have a good imagination. We will refund your money in full if the spectacles we send you do not fit your eyes perfectly. Give the catalog number of the style of the spectacles or eyeglasses you want and answer very carefully the test questions on the first column on this page. When ordering spectacles or eyeglasses of any kind to be sent by mail. Okay, let's see the test questions. This looks fun. All right, question 1. What is your age? Okay. Have you worn glasses before? And if so, how long? And what number were they? Okay, because granted, if you had worn glasses before, an actual optometrist would give you a lens number that you could reference from. But if you haven't done that, Let's say you couldn't answer that. 3. Do your eyes stand out prominently or are they sunken? Do your eyes become tired after slight use? Does the light hurt your eyes? How long is it since your sight began to fail? Do you suffer from headaches or pain over the eyes? Can you see well at a distance without glasses? Do you desire glasses for reading or seeing at a distance? Can you read test type number 8 at a distance of 10 feet without glasses? If not, what number can you see at this distance? Oh, and look, it comes with a vision test. It comes with a vision test that doubles as an advertisement. Isn't that wonderful? So let's read the type test. The smallest size letters on this card should be read easily at 15 inches from the eye. If you cannot do so, you should wear spectacles. It does not pay to buy cheap spectacles. That's the that's here's the next stage up. They distort the rays of light, disturb the angles of vision, cause pain and discomfort, and injure the eyesight. When it is necessary to hold work or reading a matter farther than 15 inches from the eyes. Now, granted, this test says, can you read test type number 8, which says the word best. If you can read this print best at 10 feet, then they know just to give you reading glasses. This is pretty much, they're just trying to narrow down. This is amazing. How did they figure that you could just... By having a pair of glasses fitted, pain in the eyes when wearing spectacles is usually caused either by improperly fitted lenses or from the centers of the lens not corresponding. And then at 32 block, the centers of the eyes, to be perfect, a lens must be made with highly polished surfaces. 26, of accurately curvatures, our crystal lenses are the best in the market. 22 inches. They are made from the clearest and finest material obtainable. 20, and are warranted to be absolutely perfect construction by no other kind. Crystalline lenses are the best. That's cool. So that's the type test. Yeah, I could read this book for days and days and days. It is an absolute wealth of how people were, or at least how Western industrialized culture behaved and conducted itself at the turn of the century. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is something for our day and age. Look at that thing. It's a mask. See it? Isn't that nice? Against dust, it is the greatest protector ever made for thrashers, grain men, millers, farmers, and everyone whose duty call him into dusty places. It is worth 1,000 times its cost as a protection to the lungs and in general health and comfort. Thousands of men are saved from consumption by the use of this protector. So look at that. They were promising it could stop tuberculosis. Isn't that cute? Isn't that just... Consumption was the pandemic of the day, don't you know? And consumption, if you don't know, is tuberculosis. By the use of this protector, it protects the nose and mouth from the intrusion of dust, which is so injurious to the head and lungs. No miller, grain buyer, thrasher, or farmer is safe without one. They afford perfect protection with perfect ventilation, made of fine metal, handsomely nickel-plated, bound with chamois, skin adjustable to anyone by strong elastic band, absolutely indestructible, and worth 1,000 times the trifling cost as a safeguard to health. Each protector comes packed with a neat box full of instructions for use. 75 cents. Dang! It's 3 days' wages for that thing. Wow. And then going into other lenses, these are spy glasses. What would a telescope, a spyglass, cost? Achromatic sunshade telescope for field work, $4.70. That is expensive. Here we go. Here's the good stuff. Pop music. Yeah. This new flexible arm Oxford cylinder talking machine, $14.95. It's like a new TV, pretty much. And then, of course, they had flat records, which are new. And then they have the genuine Columbia records, which are cylinders. Before records, they had cylinders. Oh, here we go. Telephones. Carbon battery. Yes. Our Soroka wet battery, our special Soroka wet battery is strictly first-class open circuit battery for doorbells, telephones, surgical and dental outfits. Easily recharged when exhausted. Consists of round carbon square, zinc, and jar, and 1 charge of sal ammoniac. Wow. With no mention of the voltage. Why is that? Because they didn't. Let's see. They just have number 8, number 7, number 5, number 6, and number 4 standby batteries. The battery was a very different thing back then. It was all very high-tech, state-of-the-art, and from what it looks like, it was in a glass jar. There's a carbon core in a glass jar. That's crazy. 3-cell medical batteries. This battery is the most powerful and completely equipped machine on the market. It presents the acme of perfection in medical batteries. It is furnished with 3 dry cell batteries concealed in the lower part of the cabinet and connected by a switch. So the either two or 3 of the batteries can be used at one time. It has a pole charger for reversing the current from positive to negative. And there is also a circular carbon rheostat for regulating the strength and current, gradually increasing it from the very mildest vibrations to any strength desired. Ooh, a special feature not found in other batteries is the wheeled rheotome, which allows the interval between vibrations to be regulated to any speed required. This feature is of the greatest importance in the treatment of many diseases by electricity. That's another thing you want to remember about this day and age. Electricity was such a novel thing. It was like radiation in the 60s. People thought you could cure diseases with it. People thought that it was ether of the gods incarnate in the hands of man. And that leads to some other funny things. So basically, this is a dry cell battery with a recharging coil. and you could crank it up so hard that you could literally shock the piss out of someone and possibly even shock someone to death. Around this time, I think a few years after this, the electric chair was made, and the electric chair was invented by none other than a dentist. Isn't that something? Let's look up some more interesting things. We have instruments. How much would a guitar cost? $3.95. It's pretty expensive. Not too bad, though. Oh, look, they have a $1.89 guitar. Well, that would get you by on the dusty trail. What about a pocket watch? Pocket watch would probably be pretty expensive just because fine gears, fine machined parts were a bit of a novelty. It's not something you get just for getting it. Here they are explaining the insides of a clock. Actually, if you find one of these books, you can read through it. It'll give you a pretty good gist on the basics of how a watch works and a clock works. And the main reason for that was because they didn't want you sending them back. They were hoping you'd be able to fix it yourself, because otherwise it's going to waste everyone's time and money. So by reading through all of these, you would get yourself a pretty good idea of the things inside of a watch. Not only that, but the Sears and Roebuck company originally just sold watches and jewelry. They didn't do general household goods. By 1908, they were doing everything from the stuff you find in your kitchen to the stuff, horse and buggies, the big things. And in fact, I think you could even buy a house. Oh, this one's funny. Just out there in the naked open, secret society pendants from all the different orders. Look at that. Just out in the open like that. How much does one of these cost? Anywhere from 26 cents. That's pretty modest. Now, what's the most expensive one? Let's see here. And there's a lot of different ones. If you look through this catalog here, the 1908 catalog, you can see the clubs vary from woodworkers to the more risque ones, things that nowadays you wouldn't want to be caught dead with. But back then, if you were not in the club, you were in the dust, and that's just how it was. And there was a lot of good reason for it, and there was a lot of injustice because of it. And that's just something society in general is going to have to eat on its own in its own due time. All right, this one right here was $1.10. Wow. So yeah, you find yourself a 1908 edition, you can get a good gander at that. Right next to it is the silver-plated jewelry, silver-plated silverware, pens. Isn't that crazy? You wouldn't think it, would you? But it was the way things were. And you would think in this 21st century, people would be more open, but I guess in a way they are. That's a pill for everyone to swallow in their own due time, both in and out. Let's see here. Ice cream makers, bread mixers. I want to go to the cool stuff, the things I'm actually interested in. And that's the medicine. Ooh, look at this. Hand tools, 33 cents for a wrench. That would probably make a difference. 7 cents for a smaller wrench. The thing is, though, is if you didn't have those tools, what would you do? You'd be crap out of luck. Or here's something that's kind of overlooked, actually. Back then, blacksmithing and things like that were so common. A lot of people made their own tools. They knew how to forge metal. They knew how to do those things because no one was going to be there to do it for you. You had to do it yourself, or you had to depend on Mr. Roebuck to get it there for you, or you had to go to the local blacksmith and probably trade him 3 or 4 months of dinner for a set of wrenches. Trading them 3 or 4 months of dinner for a set of wrenches. You don't believe it, do you? You just couldn't possibly fathom paying a debt down in dinners, cooking chicken dinners for someone. But that was a common way people handled things. That's just how people dealt with their problems back then. Money was the last thing. Here we go. You can buy a home for $725. They'll send it to you, all the boards and nails and rails. They'll even send you the floor plan. They'll show you where to put the furnace, how to pipe the heating, where to run the ducts. It's absolutely astounding. And this was in a day and age where the do-it-yourself Old West world was coming to a close. The Civil War was over. The industrialized existence was cemented as the norm, and it was gentrification for the wild, wild West. These were those heydays. Flushing toilets. Flushing freaking toilets. How much did a toilet cost? $15. Cheapest one at $11. Which, if you think about, if you're getting paid a dollar a day, wouldn't be too bad. But if you're getting paid 25 cents a day, you're probably going to stick to the outhouse. Hot water heaters, $17.48. Were you going to get hot water, or were we going to heat your water over a campfire? What would you do, average person? People just don't know how hard people lived back then. Average people didn't get these things. These were things that the middle and upper class people back west would be ordering, because anyone poor, they're going to stick to the oven. We're going to have a stove, a metal stove. They might order this water pump. $3.74. That's a reasonable price. They might be able to save up for that in a few months, because they're going to have to spend any money they do get mostly on food, mostly on rent. Actually, things like rent were kind of a novelty, and that's something you really only did in the city. You had your property and you had your gun, and if someone wouldn't stepped on it, don't matter if they was wearing a suit carrying papers, if they offended you, you could lay one in on them. And that's what they get for stepping on your land. Here we go. How much does a stove cost? Let's pick a really cheap stove. What would be a super cheap stove? $29.75. Damn. It's got to be a cheaper one than that. Oh, here we go. No, they're selling the most expensive one first, because they know people are going to be looking for the cheapest one. Aren't they smart? Here we go. This looks like the Acme Rover, $6.75. So, yeah, it's a high-end appliance. Better than the campfire. Ooh, look at this one. We got this really teeny tiny little squatter stove that you probably only load up with sticks. It's $2 $1.98, and that's probably sitting in the back of a wagon as they're plowing out. $1.98 for this little stick burner. Most likely coal too. Coal was a very popular option for heating. And if you're living in a, your five-member family living in a single room cabin out in the middle of the woods, you really don't need much of a stove to keep you all warm. Yeah, that's pretty wild stuff. How much would a safe cost? Here's a safe. The cheapest one they got runs $14.87. It's expensive. You're thinking to yourselves, $14.80. What the fuck? Can you imagine doing that nowadays? Paying $14 for a safe? Get out of here. All of you, get out of here. Existence is a joke. All right, here we go. Let's look for some fun stuff. How about a gun? I love doing this. I absolutely love going through this catalog. My grandpa actually used to have one of these. It's a A.J. Aubrey. Now this one is $13.85. And if I remember right, my grandpa sold his recently for around $300. And so comparatively, it actually kind of went up in value. So it's pretty neat. Here it was. The A.J. Aubrey hammerless with the tiger striping on the barrel. Yes. Beautiful stuff. And it's just painted all over this book. The simplicity of the oppression. It's just beautiful. But the marvel of the industrialized, mechanized, fast-paced, do it our way or you're dead way of doing things. How many of you think you could survive in this day and age back here in 1908? I think a lot of you would be soil. I think I would be soil because I don't get along with the club. So I would be one of those people that they're like, this guy, take him out. Why did you hang him? He talks too much. Oh, yeah, I get it. It might happen still. Please do. Fucking life is terrible. Here we go. How much does a pistol cost? Here we go. An automatic pistol. $15. Nah. No one's gonna kill me. Life is suffering. People will just let me suffer with existence until I'm too old to fight back. Hell, I'm already too weak to fight back. It's fun enough, isn't it? Let's see here. Hunting knives, $1.65. I want to get into the goodies. Where's the medicine? Here we go. I want to get into the goodies. Where's the medicine? Violet Cold Cream. This exquisite cold cream is manufactured by the well-known Eastman Perfume Company of Cincinnati and is guaranteed by them to be the best that money can buy. By means of its healing action upon the skin, it preserves that freshness and whiteness of the skin so much admired by all.
This cream is pure, free from all injurious substances. Those cold creams should be careful to apply. Only a pure cold cream of Eastman's Violet Cold Cream is pure, the purest of all cold creams. Notice the correlations of white and pure. It was a very, very opaque culture. They were definitely not. It was not an all-inclusive society, for sure. And you know what? Things are a lot different now, aren't they? There's a good thing about that. And you know what? There's a bad thing about it too. There really is, because you really can't buy things like this anymore, where you could just go to a single umbrella catalog that would sell you literally everything you could possibly look for, and it would be there. And as long as you had the cash and you were willing to pay for it and wait, and someone didn't rob the train that your stuff was on, you would get it. Because if someone robbed the stuff that your train was on, I don't think they would reimburse you, really. I think they would say too bad. And then what are you going to do? Go march all the way out to the Chicago? And then they would probably set your stuff up. They'd be like, all right, we'll get you your stuff. You've traveled this far. I guess we got to cough up. It's just absolutely astounding. Where's the medicine? I want to see the medicine. Clothes, man. All right, I missed it somewhere. I missed the good stuff. The crazy things. You got to see some of this. You got to see some of this. And some of this stuff is like incredibly dangerous to operate and use. And some of this stuff, like if you were to try and sell it nowadays, the FDA would crap an entire panicking chicken, just talons ripping through on it and pecking on its way out. This. There's the hair tonic. There's the scalp food, but these are toiletries. These aren't medicine. Toiletries and medicine are a separate subject. Where is it? The division of trusses. You know what trusses are, right? Crotch belts for women. Because you see, back then they didn't have tampons. You would just find a rag or something, and then you would slap it under the truss, ladies. No tampons, no maxi pads. You would have a truss. And the truss is pretty much just a belt with some straps that run under the crotch. And then you'd take a little rag or something and just sit it on under there. And when it was your time of the month and you were in estrus, you would just kind of have to deal with that and make sure that's wringed out properly on a regular basis. And what a brutal existence. I'm glad tampons and maxi pads exist, because I would think having a leather girdle strapped under you would probably not be the funnest thing to live with. It's a good thing it's advanced. It's a good thing it's advanced. I guess the medicine's really not in this one, is it? Maybe there was something about the bylaws where they couldn't do it anymore. And then there's these corsets. Look at these corsets. These women are literally being murdered by the tightness of these corsets. Here, get a look at this. Look at that waistline. How many of you ladies nowadays could handle that waistline? Now, there's something you want to take note of. These were abusive levels of corset. These were destroying their guts, putting pressure on their lungs, making it hard to breathe. It was literally some rich guy's sadistic idea of beauty just superimposed on whatever woman they happened to victimize with their marriage. But that's just the way it was. If you wanted to have a high class look, you had to deal with the high class troubles. And hoorah. I don't understand. Perhaps if I lived back then, I would. Actually, no, I wouldn't have lived back then. I would have died at childbirth because of my birthing complications. And if I had survived by some way of miracle, just my nature being someone who doesn't get along with weird groupthink, I would have been murdered. Absolutely murdered. I can guarantee it. Someone like me would be either lynched or shot through the head or sent on some devil's errand to get blown to pieces. I can guarantee it, because people were like that back then. And say, all right, you don't want to join the club, eh? Well, you got to do this favor for us, and then we'll leave you alone. What's the favor? Well, there's these people out here, and they cause a real trouble in this town, and unless you can take them all out by yourself... Well, I don't really want to do that. Is there any other options? We hang you. That's right. You don't believe it? I guess they're all dead now, aren't they? And not recorded in the history books. No, sir. No, sir. It is a century of buried crimes. Buried crimes by legitimate men. Well, anyway, haven't we all had a lot of fun? Y'all want a record, and here's a record. Goodbye.